Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome as we start another week of the Clarence Bug Show. Marty just doesn't. I just can't. I can't teach to help. I just don't know what to do. Thank you, Marty. Here's hoping that your weekend was an absolutely fabulous one. Good thing Marty's off camera, right? And as we are so fond of saying each and every Tuesday, right about this time of the day, if your weekend was not a great one, well, good Lord willing, you will still be here when the next one rolls our way, and you will have the opportunity to try it all over again. We start today's show talking about what is arguably the biggest news in Louisiana since the last time we spent some time with you on Thursday. It is, in this age of victimization, in the age of lots of anti-law enforcement rhetoric, it is the last thing that law enforcement needs, and the state of Louisiana needs, for that matter. State police finally releasing the video related to the arrest of Ronald Green, who died in police custody after a violent encounter with state troopers in 2019. I stand on my record, and I can say without any hesitation, reservation at all, you are not going to find a more pro-law enforcement individual than yours truly. My record speaks for itself in that regard. But this is the last thing that law enforcement needs in Louisiana right now. It is a point in time where we've reached the come to Jesus moment. Remember when you were kids and you got caught doing something that you had no business doing, something you knew was wrong, and you made the mistake when your parents first approached you about this infraction, you made the mistake of not telling the truth. You know typically what happens after that, right? It is too late to, quote, get ahead of the thing at that point. And the longer you insist on staying with whatever the narrative is that you gave then, the tougher it is to, one, get past that, and two, more importantly, regain the trust of those involved. We are talking about what is easily the highest profile law enforcement agency in the entire state of Louisiana. And quite frankly, the citizens of this state deserve better. At the end of the day, I think most reasonable people understand full well that we are a nation and a state of laws. And we understand full well that someone has to be in charge of enforcing these laws. Now, that being said, most reasonable people are also of the opinion that we as citizens who pay their salaries, provide their resources, we have the right to expect that those whose charge it is to enforce the laws are held accountable when there are missteps. I know full well, having covered law enforcement for the better part of 40 years in media, I understand full well there are those out there that are of the sentiment, well, Clarence, you know there's the thin blue line. They always cover for their own. They're not going to ever hold their own accountable. I understand full well that there are those out there with that sentiment. But the last thing you want to do is give those individuals ammunition, or, for lack of a better phrase, fodder for their cannon. Citizens deserve better. And if you have any friends at all, if you know anyone that works in law enforcement, you know full well the good men and women in law enforcement who make up the overwhelming majority of law enforcement, they hate this more than you and I do, because they are the ones that are left trying to clean up the image that's been sullied in an incident that, quite frankly, should have been handled differently from the very beginning. Superintendent Lamar Davis, in announcing his decision to release the video, only came after the video was leaked, and the Associated Press and others had started showing the video days before the superintendent came forth and acknowledged, yeah, the ranking officer there on scene said he had no body camera footage. Well, lo and behold, we find out now, 2 years later, there was footage. Add to that the fact that the initial story was that Mr. Green died as a result of an automobile crash, and now all credibility is gone. The citizenry deserves better. The good men and women in law enforcement deserve better. And we will not be able to restore that lost credibility unless and until this is dealt with. In announcing the decision to release the video, Superintendent Davis also outlined what has transpired so far with the officers involved. He revealed the following. Chris Hollingsworth, terminated. You may remember Trooper Hollingsworth died in a single vehicle crash shortly after the Louisiana State Police informed him that they planned to fire him. Trooper Dakota DeMoss issued a letter of counseling and a letter of reprimand, issued a letter of intent to terminate, and this is not going to make credibility any easier to restore. he remains on leave for a separate use of force incident. Trooper Corey York served a 50-hour suspension but remains on leave pending state and federal investigations. It is not a good look for the most high-profile law enforcement agency in our state. It is not a good look. And at this juncture, with the story changing so many times, at this juncture, after nearly 2 years of adamant denials that there is no body camera footage from the highest ranking officer on scene, only to find out now that that was a lie, that hill to restoring credibility is getting steeper and steeper and steeper. The old folk taught us early in life, at some point, you got to cut your losses. At some point, you've got to cut your losses. That battle that you are fighting for whatever reason that you know is wrong, English teachers, forgive me, in 3, 2, 1. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. At the end of the day, we are still a nation and a state of laws. At the end of the day, we understand someone has to enforce those laws. But there's also an old adage that says, to whom much is given, much is expected in return. If you are honored to serve the people of this state as the highest profile law enforcement agency in Louisiana, there is an accountability factor that comes along with that. Again, I am as pro a law enforcement individual as you will find in any part of this country. But at the end of the day, it's supposed to be all about protecting and serving. And in order to do that, accountability and transparency is a must. Pure and simple. Hopefully, we will at some point in the very near future find ourselves at a point where we move forward from this. The longer it takes, the longer it's going to be. And again, for my money, the only thing that matters is that the citizens of this state, not to mention the Green family, all deserve better. Heading into our first break of today's show, it is, of course, Tuesday, and that means it's time for another edition of Now That's Just Stupid. New to the show, new to the station, new to the area, we'll fill you in on all the details. Well, actually, I got 45 seconds. I can do it before then. In response to the ever-increasing level of stupidity in this country, we've instituted a new segment entitled, Now That's Just Stupid. You'll notice a little difference in the spelling when we come back. That'll tell you pretty much everything you need to know. We'll get our first break of today's show done, get it out of the way, and we'll talk more with you right where you've got it on the Clarence Bugg Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345. 4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
The first big sale of the year is here. The Dream Garage Spring Event is underway at Team Honda. For the first time ever, get $12.50 customer cash on every new 21 Passport, or get 0% for 60 months on every new 21 Pilot at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Right. Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Show. If you are new to the show, new to the station, new to the area, you are probably unaware that we have instituted a new segment on the show. It is in direct response to the ever-increasing level of stupidity in our country. You know, at one point, we prided ourselves on common sense in this country. If nothing else, we had common sense, and we frowned upon stupidity. My, how the world has changed. Just when you thought we couldn't get any more stupid, all you got to do is just keep breathing. Just look around. If your eyes are, you don't have to have all of your senses. I was about to say, if your eyes are working, your ears are working, you will see stupid. Your eyes can be shut just as tight as they want to be, and you'll still hear stupid. You can have your earplugs on, but you're going to see stupid. Now, the stupid that we're talking about here is not S-T-U-P-I-D, okay? That's regular level stupid, okay? What we are talking about here is S-T-O-O-P-I-D. Stupid. We're talking a whole entirely different level of stupid. We start today with the White House announcing yesterday that we don't need America to launch an independent investigation to find out the origin of the COVID-19 virus. Instead, we should rely on the World Health Organization. Quote, we're hopeful that the World Health Organization can move into a more transparent, independent phase 2 investigation. End of quote. That quote comes from White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. Jen Psaki made this comment during a regular press briefing. Apparently, she had forgotten that in March of last year, she was strongly critical of the World Health Organization, saying that their investigation was seriously lacking of critical data. Quote, hit refresh. All right. The report, she said then, lacks crucial data, information, and access. It represents a partial and incomplete picture. So now, all of a sudden, the group that was investigating the deaths of hundreds of thousands of our fellow Americans that was so sorely lacking in resources, data, information. Now, all of a sudden, they are the most qualified for an independent and, their favorite word, transparent investigation. I suffice it to say, now that's just stupid. Secondly, I don't know what corporate America is thinking these days. You would think, conventional wisdom would say, after all the blowback from organized sports, corporate entities, over being politically correct and the like, you would think they would learn it's not really a good idea to insult the audience that buys and consumes your product. I mean, you know, that's just common sense, right? I know, my bad. Common sense. Guy told me just yesterday, yeah, I saw Common Sense the other day. He was getting on the bus leaving town. Never came back. Well, Lego has announced now that they are coming out with a brand new Lego kit. Now, we all remember Legos, either playing with them as kids, building all sorts of things, or as adults, getting up in the middle of the night to go get a glass of water, and your kids have left some Legos on the floor for you to step on in the dark. Guy at the bar right now going, yep. We all know about Legos. Well, Lego has decided that we need to come out with a new Lego kit that celebrates the LGBTQ community. You heard me right. The rainbow-colored Legos also has a bunch of little figures, okay? You can't tell the ethnicity or the gender of any of the little figures, right? Lego's explanation is, well, we need to teach kids early in life that it's okay to be different. Now, if at some point God blesses me to have some grandchildren, guess which toy is the first one I'm going to scratch off my list? Take a wild guess. Which one you think is going to be the first toy to get scratched off my list? Of course, now, these folks aren't stupid. They understand full well that we are cultivating something for the future. See, if we put this out there now and get this generation indoctrinated in this way, when their kids come along, we have an entire base already in place to build on for the future. Just last week, we told you about the actress in Hollywood that's having the pertinent conversations about racism with her 1-year-old. It's never too soon to start the indoctrination of children. And Lego, hook, line, and sinker, is woke along with the rest of the corporations. Only thing they haven't taken into account, though, is that there are still some folk out there with good old-fashioned common sense. I know we are leaving in record numbers, but I would like to think that that is something that will never, ever completely go by the wayside. I know we're pretty much down the road in that regard, but we shall see what we shall see. Finally, This one is probably maybe a top 10. Maybe a top 10. As we get ready to go through all of the changes to society that progressives are attempting to usher in, electric cars and self-driving cars are all the rage. By now, everybody knows that, Tesla is leading the way with self-driving cars, and it's just a matter of time before you'll be able to jump in the car and tell it where you want to go, and you just kick back and relax and set it to wake you up when you get there. Well, there's one guy that's ahead of the curve, way ahead of the curve, in Kenosha County, Wisconsin. One of the biggest things that experts are worrying about is people that have Teslas put it on automatic pilot and then go to sleep, never realizing, okay, if something happens outside the scope of the autopilot in an emergency, I'm asleep. Houston, we gonna have a problem. So police in Wisconsin pull over a guy clocking 82 miles an hour while he sleeps with his Tesla on automatic pilot. Deputy clocked the guy, drove alongside him with lights and siren on for 2 miles before he could wake him up. Pulls the guy over, and of course, you know what that exchange went like. Well, why'd you stop me? Because you were sleeping? No, I wasn't sleeping. I'm fine. Sir, I've been on side of you for 2 miles. Your head was like this. Your eyes were like this. You were sleeping, bruh. No, I wasn't. Yes, you were. Lo and behold, trust me on this one, you're going to hear about this guy again. We now find out, after he was given a ticket for inattentive driving, police found out he has 2 prior incidents where drivers sharing the highway with this clown saw him asleep at the wheel while the Tesla is just rolling down the highway. If at the end of the day you don't care enough about your own life, well, that is what that is. Nothing I can do about that. I told you, God knows how many times it is buried somewhere deep in the Constitution that it's America. You got a right to be a moron. But at the end of the day, being selfish and not caring about your own life, well, that is what that is. But what about the rest of the motoring public that you share the road with? 82 miles an hour, you're asleep with the car on autopilot. At 82, if you awaken, God only knows what you might be dreaming about. We only know what your reaction might be, not to mention if something happens while you're asleep. And this is his 3rd time. I am not a betting man, but I'll take odds on this one. You're going to hear about this guy again. And at some point, it's not going to be pretty. Why? Because he's stupid. That's why. Marty's over there nodding in agreement. Yep. Bottom of the hour break. We'll get her done. Come back and talk about some great news for LSU softball, Southern baseball, and got an update on the Good Guy of the Week report. That's next on the Clarence Buggs Show. Sit close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Buggs Show. I was so happy for university athletics here in the capital city recently. It has been, in the post-COVID world, those of us that are sports fans, we've found ourselves having to be very selective as far as what we choose to follow in athletics. It is due in large part to nothing at all to do with COVID. It's the whole woke movement all across the country that has many of us who thought, and I stress, thought, obviously erroneously, that we were incurable sports fans, at least professional sports. It's amazing how things happen, isn't it? Things that you thought you could never do without, get mad enough, you'd be surprised. But I digress. One of my favorite people on the planet, Beth Torina, leading the LSU softball team to another super regional. It is going to be the 9th time in school history after, and I was trying to think if it would be possible. Well, it could be, but inside the state of Louisiana, I don't think so. Beating ULL to advance to the super regional is probably as good as it gets for softball. The win over the Raging Cajuns marked the 6th straight super regional appearance and the 7th under head coach Beth Torina. The regional title was the 11th in school history. Now, the Tigers will get to face Florida State in the Super Regional next weekend at Tiger Park. Dates, times, TV coverage, etc. will be announced later. Congrats, obviously, are in order to our own LSU softball Tigers, and again, one of my favorite people on the planet, Coach Beth Torina. Meanwhile, right across town, the Southern University baseball Jaguars pulling off an upset against Jackson State in the Southwestern Athletic Conference tournament. It is now back-to-back championships for the Jags. And under normal, quote-unquote, circumstances, that would be what it is. But take into account the COVID-19 protocols, take into account the shortened season, take into account lineup changes because of COVID and other things, and throw into all of that an interim head coach. And for the Jags to pull this off really speaks volumes about this team. It is an accomplishment that Chris Crenshaw, the interim coach, should truly be proud of. It is a situation where if ever there was a team that could have said, all right, well, this season's going to be what it's going to be, but we're not going to, go out and raise holy hell if it's, not what it could be, it would be this team. But for them to persevere the way they did, to come back and win it all and advance to the NC2A tournament is a feather in the cap. May 31st is when the Jaguars will find out who they're going to play in the NC2A tournament. And it goes without saying, we will be keeping an eye on that, and hopefully the Jaguars will, in the words of Muhammad Ali, shock the world. Also, good guy of the week. I saw this story, and every now and then you run across something that makes you go, you know what? Maybe things aren't quite as bad as some people want us to think they are. This story is one of those that restores your faith in your fellow human being. In recent memory, we have watched things happen where we all say to ourselves, wow, can we as a nation, can we as a species get any lower than this? And, with the advent of the 24-hour news cycle, with the advent of the internet, and of course, if it's bad news, then it always leads the newscast. It's real easy to find yourself caught up in the fact that, yeah, there's a lot of bad folk out there. Yeah, there's a lot of bad things happening out there. But it's also easy to overlook all the good people that are out there. Now, I will leave to you to decide what that says about us as a society when we are so eager or so easily led to focus on the negative as opposed to focusing on the positive. I'll leave that to you to decide, brighter minds than mine. However, every now and then you run across something and you go, maybe there's hope for us after all. This particular story involves a pretty good amount of money. And say what you will, but most people don't know what they would do when something involves a whole lot of money until it happens to them. Southwick, Massachusetts. Woman goes by her regular stop, convenience store, and buys a scratch-off ticket. She's in a rush to get to work, so right there, standing in the checkout line, after purchasing the ticket, she scratches off what she thinks are all of the numbers. Looks at the ticket, says, son of a gun, didn't win. So she hands the ticket back to the clerk behind the counter. Her name, by the way, is Leah Rose Flega, F-L-E-G-A. I hope I didn't butcher it too bad. She's in a hurry, so she says, here you go. She hands the ticket back to the cashier and then walks out. The ticket stayed behind the counter for 10 days. At one point, the cashier looks at the ticket and says, this lady didn't scratch off all the numbers. So the cashier did probably what anybody else would do. He went on and scratched off the remaining number. $1 million prize. So, Avi Shah is the clerk. Family owns the store. Avi Shah knows the woman who came in the store and said, you know what? I'll just hold on to this. When she comes back, I'll give her the ticket. She'll be $1 million richer. So sure enough, days pass. She doesn't make her regular stop at the store. So what does he do? Nah, not what you would do. Not what you would do. Get on your cell phone and call your buddy and say, hey, bro, come by. I'm gonna slip this to you. You take it down to the office and claim it. And it's $1 million after taxes. I'm going to split it with you 70-30. Okay? What did he do? Avi Shah finds out where the woman works, calls her and says, you need to come by the store and talk to my parents. And she's like, well, I'm busy at work. We're like snowed under. He's like, no, you need to come by this store and talk with my parents. So sure enough, she goes by the store and they tell her, you left this ticket here. You didn't scratch off all the numbers. We took the liberty of scratching off the remaining number, and here's your $1 million ticket. Now the store obviously gets a decent amount of money for selling the winning ticket, $10,000. She then, in the vernacular of the streets, broke them off a little extra something. You think? You think? $1 million. Now, I'm not going to ask the obvious question because you all have already done it. If you haven't done it already, you're doing it in your mind right now. You're trying to figure out what percentage of my fellow Americans would have gone through the effort of tracking this lady down and giving her the ticket back. I'm not going to get involved in that. I am just simply going to enjoy a story from the good guy of the week. Way to go, fella. Way to go. Of all the things he could have done with that ticket, he chose to do the right thing. So today, when you're going through the internet, going through the newspaper, watching the news, and you hear all this ugly, negative, demeaning, all these downtrodden stories about the state of humanity in this country particularly, just remember, not all is rotten in Denmark. There are still lots of good people out there. Just saying. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and we wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
The selection is deep, and the time to get a used car is right now from the Team Automotive Group. Shop and save on over 125 certified vehicles and choose from more than 700 pre-owned vehicles at any of our team locations. Or log on anytime at teamautouse.com.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. By the way, we are broadcasting live as we do every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from Bayou Smokehouse, the home of old school barbecue at 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Yours truly will be wrapping up shortly, but my dear friend Bill Profita of the Exiles will follow immediately after the conclusion of our show. So be sure to stick around and spend some time with Bill Profita. It is something that happens in our state regularly, but it's, even though it's an occurrence of nature, it's still something that should concern us all, particularly those of us that are sportsmen and those of us that enjoy nature's bounty here in Louisiana. A consumption advisory, in other words, a do not eat advisory, has been issued for 6 bodies of water in Louisiana after unacceptable levels of mercury were detected in fish and shellfish. Louisiana's Department of Health, DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality, and of course, Wildlife and Fisheries, all getting together in announcing these advisories. The most recent ones include new warnings and updates to 5 previously issued warnings. It is particularly of concern for expectant mothers and children. Those of you that know anything about the consumption of mercury, you know what it does to the human body, and it is something that should be avoided at all cost. Each advisory lists the specific fish, the amount of consumption, and outlines the geographic boundaries where this is occurring. Bayou Chene and Bayou Lacassine. Additionally, you are advised to avoid consuming fish from Big Alabama Bayou, a very special place in my heart where my late father and I used to fish for many years. Little Alabama Bayou included in that as well, or Big Alabama and Little Alabama as we used to call them. The Calcasieu River Drainage Basin also included there as well. Old River, Neblet Bluff in Calcasieu Parish listed there as well. It is a very detailed list. As a matter of fact, if you go to the website of the NBC affiliate here in Baton Rouge, BR Proud, Channel 33, they share that website with the Fox 44 affiliate. If you go there, they have a complete listing, not only of the geographic regions and the bodies of water, but it also tells you the type of fish that you should not eat, for lack of a better word. For example, the advisory for Little Alabama: women of childbearing age and children less than 7 years of age should consume no more than 1 meal per month of shoepick and largemouth bass combined, or they should not consume more than 3 meals per month of, I can't believe they actually called it black crappie, sac-a-lait, black sac-a-lait, and freshwater drum, also known as gaspergou. Other adults and children of any older age, there's no advisory for them. It is the time of year when millions of us take to the outdoors, and you know it's hard on Louisiana folk because, like yours truly, we're of the opinion going to Tony's Seafood is great, getting your fresh catfish and the like, but nothing tastes as good as fish that you caught yourself. I know it's psychological. I know that. I understand that. But at the end of the day, there's just something special about cleaning, cooking, and eating the fish that you caught. It's just something different about it. But you are advised, go to either the Department of Environmental Quality's website, the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries website, or the Louisiana Department of Health website, and find out if in fact it is safe for you to consume the fish that you've caught in any of these areas. Now, for those of you that say, well, Clarence, why should I do that? I don't fish Big Alabama, I don't fish Little Alabama, I don't fish Beauchene. Well, that's not the exact extent of what we're talking about here. Mercury occurs naturally in nature, and as a result of that, it's cyclical in Louisiana. The rise in mercury levels happens regularly in our waterways, and as a result, right now there are 49 bodies of water in our state where you are advised not to consume certain species of fish from these bodies of water. If you are an avid fisherman, and I understand We've got tons of ponds, rivers, lakes in Louisiana. I get it. But do you really want to play the lottery on mercury in your body, your children's bodies, or your pregnant wife's body? 49 bodies of water have mercury advisories. That's something that you need to pay attention to. Just saying. If you got a hankering for some good old school barbecue, something you need to pay attention to as well is a visit to Bayou Smokehouse, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, the home of old school barbecue. Oh, the place is filling up fast this morning. They open at 11. I see folks pull up 10 minutes to 11 to be sure that they are in the first round of folks that get in. When I say made from scratch, the smoked sausage, they grind it and fix it themselves fresh every morning. Carry it out to the pit and smoke it right here on premise. The bourbon baked beans and the mac and cheese, oh my God, when I say made from scratch, I dare you to come and take one bite and tell me that I lied to you. Take me up. I'd love for you to take me up on the challenge. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Bayou Smokehouse, the home of old school barbecue. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. This day, just like any other, every day, I give it to you. You're right. America, not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's still the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bill Profitas next. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.